Hi everyone, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. So I've had several requests over the past few months to share my updated how I get strawberry blonde hair at home video. And I have made several videos on this topic in the past, and I will link them down in the description box in case you'd like to see any of those videos. I do tweak my formula from time to time. I would tell you why I think the shade looks a little bit different, and I also wanted to share with you the other formulas that I have used over the past several years that I like equally as well. One is more expensive, and it is Madison Reed Matera Marigold, and I just order it straight through the Madison Reed website, and I order Matera Marigold. That's one thing I do, and I love that color. And I also, from time to time, cheat between hair colorings, and I just run into Walgreens and I pick up some hair dye to touch up my roots, and I have a little formula there that works really well for root touch-ups. So if you would like to see that, let me know, and then when I do my next root touch-up, I will do that for you so that way you can see what I do. But I do think that the big change has been that I have gone more gray. When I made my first How I Get Strawberry Blonde Hair at Home video, which will be linked below, I also shared with you how much gray I had in my hair and all that kind of stuff. And that has changed because I think I was 47 when I made that video. I'm 54. So I'm gonna show you, and hopefully you can tell. Whenever I say I absolutely have to color my hair, my roots are looking bad, my family always says, they look fine, I can't see anything. But I think they're just being nice because I do have more gray than I've had before, and I'm gonna come up close and show you. So in my first video, I think I was 10 to 15% gray. And now I have more gray, but it's only in certain places. So I hope you can see that in my temple right here. I'm gonna try to zoom it in, that my hair is kind of white. It's coming in white, not gray. And it's not super obvious because I have my red hair kind of threading through it, but because of the white or silvers growing in, it looks like more of a muddy red shade, and it's not vibrant and pretty like my hair was whenever I was younger. And then here in my part is where I absolutely notice it. And I hope you can tell. I'm gonna zoom you in, and there's some white hairs just kind of threading through, but they're the same texture as the rest of my hair, so they don't like frizz up or coil up like some gray hairs do, so they're harder to see. I'm just gonna kind of pull my hair apart in some sections, and hopefully you can see. I don't know how much is here, but I'm gonna show you just for the sake of it. And then here also at this temple, some whites or silvers are kind of threading through, and I haven't colored my hair in 2 months. So this is 2 months of growth. And I have like about this much of growth that looks like it really needs to be touched up. And the back, I never really even look at, so I don't know how much I have back there, but I don't think I have as much as I have around the crown here, or around my forehead area, or even back here, I do notice a little bit. Whenever I was younger and I was starting to get my first grays, I used to sort of fixate on it and get really close to the mirror and look close and try to pluck them out. I never bother with that anymore, and I really never even look at it anymore. It just doesn't bother me really, but I'm not ready to go gray. I do think gray hair is beautiful. I don't know how it would look on me, and I don't think I have enough gray. I think my hair would just look weird, and so until I get all gray, then I won't test it out and try. So I think I'm about 20, maybe 25% gray. I don't have like any real patches of gray hair except like right here on my temple. Anyways, that's what I'm dealing with. And I think that's another reason why my hair looks a little different, is because I have more gray and it's kind of threaded through in different areas. And the other thing is that I have not dyed my roots, like from maybe here down and a very long time. I think a year would seem a little too long, but it could be. It's been a very, very, very long time. And I do find that the mixes I've been using hold up really well. My color doesn't really fade. I always like to add, whenever I do a hair coloring video, that one of the very first YouTube videos I ever watched that was health, beauty related was how to get strawberry blonde hair at home. And I found Molly Girl Get Glamorous, and she shared her formula. And initially she only shared her formula using like drugstore options, and then she started using Wella Color Charm, and she's always tweaking her formula. And right now her hair is really dark and it looks beautiful on her. She's so beautiful. But anyways, so I want to just shout her out because I wouldn't have learned this, and I wouldn't have been tweaking my formula and doing this all at home the way I have been for like the past 8 years or so if I hadn't found her videos, and she's saved me so much time and money. So I wanted to add that. Okay, so now I'm ready to start, and I'm gonna begin by sharing with you what I like to have ready before I start. So the first thing is I've purchased these black wash rags, and I have small hand towels that are also black, and I like to use these whenever I do anything that's kind of dirty, you know, with my hair or face that might potentially ruin my good washcloths. So I use the black ones for that, and I would recommend using black as well if you don't want to ruin your washcloth. And then the next thing I like to have is one of these little bowls, and I get mine from Sally Beauty Supply, and it is scored, but I never use the measurements in the bowl. I find it very difficult to read the measurements in the bowl, so I'll show you what I do for the measurements. But I like to have a bowl like this. It's plastic. You can get it at the beauty supply store, and it rinses out really, really nicely when you're finished, and you don't have to worry about ruining any of your bowls at home. And then I always like to use these kinds of brushes, and I get these at the beauty supply store, and I like to have like a rat tail at the end so I can part sections of my hair. And then I like to have one of two other products for when I'm not doing the length of my hair. I like to protect my hair with either organic coconut oil, and I use this for so many things besides hair, but I like to put this like all over. Like today, I am gonna work the color through the length of my hair, which I haven't done in so long, like I said, almost a year. So I'm excited to see how it's gonna look. It probably does need a good freshening up, but I'm not unhappy with the way it looks now either. And I feel like my hair is so much less damaged than it would be if I did it every single time. But I do like to use this on the ends, and even though I'm gonna work my color down to the ends today, I am still going to put a little bit on the ends, like the very ends, just so they don't absorb a lot of product. This hair is old hair. This hair has had a lot of stuff done to it over the years, so it's more porous, and I just wanna prevent it from absorbing too much product. Or I like to use cholesterol, and this is also from Sally Beauty Supply, and it's the Queen Helene Cholesterol hair conditioning cream. My mom is, well, she called herself a beautician, but a hairstylist, and she went to beauty school back in the 60s, and this is what she always used on mine and my sister's hair whenever we'd get perms or anything that could damage our hair, and it always did like a really good deep conditioning treatment. So I still use it to this day, and part of it is that the scent of it brings me back to childhood and brings back so many memories of bad perms. But anyway, I can laugh about them now. But I like to use this, and I am going to use this one today because I feel like my hair does need like more conditioning. And so while this is kind of sitting on my hair too, I hope it will help with that as well. Like this. All right, and I have plastic gloves. And I will be honest, I don't always use plastic gloves, but for this video, I will wear plastic gloves because I have done these videos in the past and didn't have them on, and some of you came for me. So I'm gonna wear my plastic gloves. I like the Color Wella Charm Cream Developer, and this is a volume 20, and that's what I like to use. I'm not really lifting color as I'm depositing color, so it really does kind of just make my hair feel healthy overall. But I always go with a volume 20, and that's what is recommended too when I use the colors that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to be using 8G Light Golden Blonde from Color Wella Color Charm, and this is the gel formula, and 8RG Titian Red Blonde. And this is, did I say 8RG? And this is also a cream product or gel product from Color Wella Charm. And this is a cream developer. These all come in liquid formulas as well. I would warn you against those because they are very drippy and messy, and the cream or gel formula is not as drippy or messy. One more thing that you're gonna need that I almost forgot to mention is hair clips to clip up different sections of your hair as you work to get them out of the way. And I do have clips that I got from Sally Beauty Supply, and they're just cheapy clips that work really well. I'll link them down in the description box, but I think one of my daughters took them. They both like to fool around with their hair and I can't find them. So I just have various like clips that I would use to clip my hair to go out, but these aren't typically the clips that I use. I usually use just those plain old cheapy clips that you can get from the hair supply store, and you wouldn't necessarily wear them to go out because they're not very attractive, but those are the clips that you probably want. And so after saying all this, I just want to tell you that I am not a professional. I'm just a lady who has learned my best formula for coloring my strawberry blonde hair at home. I feel like my hair is in really good health, and I feel like this formula is very long lasting. In fact, I even have no problem with the drugstore formulas that I've used in the past. They still seem, I think hair dye has just come such a long way, but I do like the mix that I'm going to be using to get a really pretty color of strawberry blonde hair for me. And if you decide to do this, do it at your own risk, because I don't know what your hair is like. Mine, like I said, is pretty healthy. It's long, it's thick, and it can really stand up to a little bit of abuse without breaking off. So please just watch this video and enjoy this video for entertainment purposes, and speak to a hair care professional before you try this at home, because they can advise you professionally if your hair is in the right condition, or even if this color would look right on you with your complexion. I don't want you to proceed and try to do what I do and then have something go awry, damage your hair, or just not turn out the way you want it to. So you really need to look at all of your unique attributes to decide if this is something that would work for you. So I'm just going to show you what I do and what works for me, and I hope you enjoy this video. Since I'm going to be coloring the whole length of my hair this time, I went ahead and put both tubes into my squeezy bottle, and you can see the Titian Red Blonde is at the bottom and the light golden blonde is at the top. Some of it might be mixed in with the Titian Red Blonde, so it looks like there's more of that, but there isn't. There's 2 ounces in each tube, and it's a 1-to-2 ratio. So I'm at a total of 4 ounces, so I need to add 8 ounces of cream developer to my bottle. I hope that makes sense. If you just remember that 1 ounce of color gets 2 ounces of developer, and this is the way I like to measure it out because my bottle is scored and I can't make any mistakes then. I just make sure that I shake everything down. I get the color in there first, and I look and see where I'm at, and then I just make sure that I add double the amount of developer. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my 8 ounces of cream developer. I hope I have enough. I think I do. This is a pretty big bottle. And it did work out perfectly. I used all of my developer up, so I have to order another one now, and I'll replace the hair color that I used this time. And this is what it looks like. And I just make sure the lid's on really tight, put my finger over the tip, and shake and shake and shake. And I will be back when this is all mixed up to show you what it looks like. Okay, it's all mixed and it looks like a candy corn. It's yellowy orange, and this is how it should look when you mix those 2 colors together with your developer. Okay, so what I typically do is just start right in my part. And I'm not gonna put on the gloves yet. I'm gonna put the gloves on when I start using my fingers to really kind of work it in. And I would not recommend you do that because you could react to the chemicals in the dye. But like I said, I don't always wear the gloves all the time, and I've never had any issues. Again, just just don't do what I do what is right, which would be wearing your gloves. But as you can see, I'm not touching the dye right now. I'm just starting. And when I do start to work it down, I'll have to put the gloves on, and then I will. And I like to use the tail of the little brush here to part my hair. When I get down to like the length of my hair, that's when I start squirting some of this into the bowl, the blue bowl. And then I have the gloves on, and then I use my fingers to kind of work it into my hair. You'll see. So I'll show you a little bit of this process, maybe one side, and then I'll go do the other side so that this video isn't terribly long, because I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Here you can see, I hope you can see like that muddy color, or the grays I have here. Definitely more than I had when I first filmed this video, which contributes to how the color turns out. It looks different on gray hair than it does on hair that's already, it's like its natural color and you're just changing it. It used to really bother me when I saw gray hairs coming in, but now it really doesn't bother me. Sometimes I feel a little bit bummed out that I don't have more, because I see so many of those Silver Sisters videos, women going gray, and some of their hair just looks so amazing. But even if I wanted to do that, I would still have to get my hair chemically treated, because my hair isn't gray enough yet. So I would have to have it dyed to look gray. And I think the whole point of going gray for me would be not fussing anymore. And I'm still happy to fuss, so. And I don't know, I feel like when you're a redhead, or your hair color distinguishes you from like a group, like people always say, there was that red-haired lady, or identify me as the lady with the red hair. It's a part of my identity. I don't know what it would be like to not have my red hair, because I've always been a redhead, and you know, it's just how I see myself or think of myself. You know, when I remember whenever I'd have to write little papers in school describing myself or drawing pictures of myself, the big thing I would always put is, I have red hair. I draw the picture and I'd always get like the reddest crayon, even though my hair was more orange, and I'd put this red hair all over my head. Oh, I'm going to the other side now. Okay, I'm gonna do this other side just like I did this side, and then when I start to do the rest, I'll come back. So I'll be right back. Okay, I know I look a little bit crazy. I'm gonna show you how I do the back, but this is my son Seth, and he has like the perfect color strawberry blonde hair, doesn't he? Say hi, Seth.
Hi. Say hi, Seth. Hi.
All right, see you later. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I do the back. And when I was Seth's age, though, going back, my hair wasn't like that. It was more like a copper red. It was darker than his. And my husband has blonde hair. So I think between his blonde hair and my darker copper hair from when I was younger and natural, it created that beautiful shade of strawberry blonde hair that I now color my hair to be. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I do the back now. So I got the dye, and I just kind of go down the part and take my little brush and it's really just kind of feeling it, like feeling for it. I'm gonna get a little bit more. Okay, and I don't know how much you guys can see, so I'm gonna just do the rest of this, the back, and I'll be back and we'll start up on the gloves, and I'll start working down the length. I don't have any on my hands though, so even though I didn't wear gloves, I'm good. So I have the back done, I have the sides done, and I have the top and the front done. And it's only done as if I were doing my roots. And this is what I do about every 2.5 months. until I get to a point that I can't stand it. It's been 2 months and I probably could have gone a little bit longer because it wasn't driving me bonkers yet, but I never really go longer than about 2 months and 1 week, or definitely 2.5. And that's only because I've placed my order and it didn't get here on time or something. But everything is on. And now what I'm gonna do is just take a wide tooth comb and I'm just gonna kind of comb through it. I wanted to add that this brush is really nice. I would recommend applying it with a brush like that all over your roots like I did instead of your fingers, because if I were to use my fingers, I sometimes don't get in there enough, and there might be like some very small patches of hair that don't get color on them. But by really getting in them with it, getting in there with a brush that has such tightly packed bristles, it just leaves no stone unturned. You know, I never have any spots of hair that isn't colored. So I've learned to not try to just do it all with my fingers. When I was younger, I used to do that all the time, and I would sometimes get these weird patches, and you don't want to deal with that. So I'm just combing now the length of my hair. I kind of combed through here, as you saw, just to make sure everything's nice and smooth and I had the color all over. And if you have thick hair or long hair like I do, you'll know that it's kind of hard sometimes to get color all over your hair because there's just so much hair to get through. I'm gonna start by, actually I put my gloves on a little prematurely. Let me take these off. I'm gonna take the cholesterol, and like I said, I either use coconut oil. I usually use coconut oil like on my skin, but I forgot to do that because I was talking, so it's okay. You could use cholesterol or coconut oil for this, for on your skin, to make sure you don't get your product all over your skin. I think that's more important if you have a dark color. Oops, and I only want to put on the very ends because this is the really like a processed and porous part of my hair that's most likely to be damaged or to absorb a little too much color because it's been damaged. So it's a little more porous and it's more absorbent. And I don't want to damage it further, and I don't want it to absorb too much color. So like about the last 3 inches of my hair, I kind of just work it in there. I make sure that it gets pretty good on my hair, but I don't want to totally saturate it. I just get it lightly on there because I do want my hair to get a little bit of color on there, but I don't want it to sit on that area as long as it sits on the rest of my hair. So yeah, I even got this, so that's good. Okay, now for the gloves. Okay, so now I'm just gonna work in small sections, and I just make sure my hair is very smooth and it's not too thick of a section. And then I just go like this. And use the brush to kind of work it in. Make sure I cover every single hair. That's why you need small sections. And I'm not even gonna go down to the very end yet. I'm gonna do that last because I want the color to sit the shortest period of time on the very ends of my hair. And this is where my clips come in. And like I said, you want the cheapy ones. You don't want the nice ones like I am using today because I couldn't find my cheapy ones. And I'll just do like half again, and then I'll do the other half off camera, but I want you to be able to see the process. So I will do half. And I guess this is about 1.5 inches in width. And that's usually 1.5 or 2 inches. I used a little too much, so it's drippy, so I can work this in with my fingers. I used to hate having red hair whenever I was younger. I was always the only one in my class in school growing up when I was really young, like K through 5. Then we got in middle school, we had a couple more people with red hair, not very many. And then by high school, there were more. And in college, a lot of people had red hair. I guess the pool of people gets bigger and bigger. I never liked having red hair when I was younger because I just wanted to blend in with my classmates. Plus, kids would make jokes and call me Carrot Top, or I don't know. I didn't even like redhead, you know. I didn't like being identified by my red hair when I was younger. Excuse me. But I don't mind it now. It's always that way, right? It's like now I'm graying and I really like it. But when I was younger, I hated it. And when Madonna became really popular, around the time I was like in 8th grade, I really wanted blonde hair like hers, like platinum blonde hair. So when I got to high school, I dyed my hair platinum blonde for a few years. And I got it out of my system. But it did not look very good on me because my skin is so fair and it just didn't look that great. Okay, so that's like one whole side. So now I'm just gonna move my hair over here and I'm gonna do this side and move it all up to process, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have my hair very saturated with hair color. I have a towel on my lap, just so you know, if you see it dripping a little bit, I have a towel on my lap, and I'm doing this here instead of in my master bath because the lighting is better, but also it's pretty ventilated, and I usually only do my roots, so it doesn't really get so like the chemical smell. But since I'm doing the whole length of my hair and using so much product, it's pretty strong, and I want to be in a more ventilated area. So now I've got just a little bit of color left, and I'm gonna work it into the very tippy ends of my hair that have the cholesterol on. Okay, so now I have my hair completely saturated, and I'm gonna let this process for about 30 minutes, and I'm gonna go into the shower and take my evening shower and wash it out and also shower. So I'll be back in the morning to show you my finished results because I'm not gonna blow dry my hair, I never do. So it needs to dry overnight so you can see the finished look, and I'll see you in the morning. Here I am the next day. I did go to sleep with my hair damp last night, and I did comb through it with a wide tooth comb, and I always go to sleep with my hair damp and it dries by morning. This is how it looks the next day, and I'll bring you in close because these were the problem areas, like right around my face, and you can see that it definitely covered all those little pesky grays, and nothing going on here. Everything's covered up here, and in my part, it always looks a little hot, you know, right after you color it, where your hair just absorbs a lot of the dye, and it just needs to kind of fade a tiny bit. Let me turn around. And the ends of my hair stayed nicely protected. They're not like fried or anything like that from dyeing it. I did do a good job of protecting the ends with the cholesterol. And yeah, I just wanted to pop on here and show you the finished results. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment section. And I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. I'll see you next time.